That's big business. Hit town, but that's big pimpin'. My potential, that's infinite. Pin game insane. Make hits like King Griffin, a 10th inning.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to episode 30 of the 10th Inning Podcast. I believe last week I said 28. I was behind. It's really 30 now. As always, I'm Sean. He's Dan. And that is for young folk out there who are not sure who Vladdy Jr.'s dad is. That is Vladimir Guerrero Sr., hell of a ball player. Yeah, hell of a player.
Trying to make it look like he's swinging in my head.
Yeah. No, he definitely wouldn't miss. You know, he wouldn't miss a baseball. He definitely. Now, you do have a small head. I will say that. You do.
For anyone who's like, Dan, no object. I'm just kidding. Here's a piece of corn. All right, it's a peanut.
Yeah, it looks like I was gonna say it looks like a Nutter Butter. Like, you know.
It is a peanut. Episode 30. I mean, that is pretty fucking impressive, is it not?
We haven't been canceled yet, so we're doing good.
You get on the feet now, people. Get on the feet. I don't want to block this beautiful cap here. So, Sean, this is the second weekly recap we have, right? Week number 2, baseball.
It is.
And shit's moving already. That's pretty fun.
It is, absolutely.
Where in the world do you want to take us first? I feel like we're on a flight right now, kind of a Key and Peele skit. Where we're at. What is that called? I'll have what I'm having. You know, when we're getting the taste of everything.
Yeah.
Where are we flying to first?
Well, we're gonna stop over, believe it or not, in Denver, Colorado, for the Colorado Rockies, who currently sit at 8-5. Had a chance to sweep the Phillies today. Did not. The Phillies have their struggles. I'll get into that in a little bit. But primarily in the Rockies, they CJ Cron on fire right now. Also Chris Bryant also on fire. So that's been a huge signing for them. Obviously 8-5, they're in a very tough division. This isn't going to last. I mean, frankly, they could finish 10 games over 500 and not make the playoffs in the National League setup. But it's good to see them doing well. They also re-signed a pitcher this week. Did you see that come across the screen there? Because I forget the exact contract details. Oh, would you maybe be able to?
While you look that up, I'm going to interrupt you.
Oh, go right ahead.
You can look that up. I'm going to be frank with you guys. Colorado Rockies, great subject for me. Actually, just did a group project on the Colorado Rockies maybe about a week ago. So if you need a resident expert on the Colorado Rockies organization, you ask me any questions, frankly, Sean, I have the answers for you. Did a whole fucking 15-minute presentation, about 25 slides on the Colorado Rockies. You want to know their payroll this year? You want to know the fucking financial status? I mean, anything.
Tell me the payroll right now. Payroll right now.
138,357, I think.
Okay. Does that I assume that ranks in the lower third?
That would be, I believe, 16th this season.
Okay, a little higher than I thought.
They came in at 11th and 15th over the past 3 years. They're pretty much a mid-market team.
And they have sucked while being mid-market. That's tough. That is tough. I found what I was talking about. Kyle Freeland signed a 5-year, $64.5 million contract.
Okay.
Good for him. Hopefully it works out for him because pitchers in Colorado don't work out that well. But nonetheless, the Rockies are off to a good start. It's good to see. They don't know what they're doing over there. They trade other players and then spend money on Chris Bryant. But anyway, good for the fans. They at least have that going on because the Denver Nuggets right now, their basketball team, down 2-0 in the playoffs. So at least they got that going for them.
That is for fun. I'm not ignoring you. I just like the way you just looked that up. We have made a stance on this podcast again and again that we are not going to be, and this is not a shot to Joe Rogan. We know on podcasts people say shit, things come out. Sometimes it's not always accurate. It's hard when you're live. On this podcast, we say shit and the other person checks each other, and we make sure that everything gets to you right or wrong, whether we look like assholes or not.
Yeah.
You know? So you keep talking about the Rockies. I'm going to look up the exact thing because if it's not 138,257, Sean, I need them to know to the dollar.
Okay, I appreciate that.
Thank you.
And like I said, we'll get into the Phillies right now. Phillies are off to a bit of a slow start. They started the year. I believe they were 4-2 at one point, maybe 3-2. And they now sit at 5-8. They had lost 4 in a row prior to beating the Rockies today, 8-6 in a nice day game matinee in Colorado. A bit of a slow start. I wouldn't be too worried if I was a Phillies fan right now. They do have quite a large payroll. Their defense is just atrocious, but their offense is going to come around, and their pitching is also going to come around, at least the starters. Their bullpen, they have Jerry Familia, say no more. He's not known for being consistent. Dan, were you wrong with the numbers? It's okay. We'll forgive you.
Yeah, on the slide showing, I rounded up. It's 137,308, and I
think we can do
I
it.
value the listeners, Sean, and I don't want them to think that I come on here, and I just fucking say whatever I want and disregard that they're here to learn. I don't want that to come across that way. 137,308.
It's okay. You listeners, viewers, please let us know that. Let Dan know it's okay that he, rounded up. We all make mistakes.
Thank you.
He has Vladdy Sr. behind him. I mean, my God, what else could you ask? And speaking of Vladdy, Vladdy Jr. getting hot. The man had a monster game against the Yankees at Yankee Stadium. It's probably maybe a week ago or so, maybe under a week ago. Guy is on fire. He's hitting. I have his stats here somewhere. He's hitting over 300. I'm not going to worry about trying to show you him right now or tell you about him, but he's doing very well. Blue Jays, decent start, not great, not bad. Doing well. What was that?
That was a burp.
Okay, sorry.
No,
okay.
Please.
I wasn't sure if you had anything to add to what I had said so far. I didn't want to cut you.
Just a burp.
And another storyline, very near and dear to my heart as a Mets fan. Max Scherzer's back, ladies and gentlemen. Dan here, self-proclaimed hater, said the man was a wimp, wouldn't pitch through anything. Well, he has been nothing but spectacular in a Mets uniform. I believe he's 3-0 right now. Went 6 no-hit innings against the Giants last night. Maybe it was 5 2/3. Nonetheless, only gave up a run over 7. Got the win. Hasn't lost in, I think, 23 starts dating back to last year. Not too shabby. Pretty good pitcher. And the Mets staff's on fire right now without DeGrom, even though Chris Bassett gave up 5 tonight in, I think, 4 or 5 innings, but not everybody's perfect.
When was the last time Scherzer pitched?
Last night.
Last night? Let me check something. Okay.
Yeah.
Now, was there a perfect game? Oh, perfect game going on right now. Who's throwing a perfect game right now? The question is, and that is Shohei Ohtani. God damn. That's phenomenal. 5 1/3, 12 Ks.
So they don't take him out like they did with Kersh.
Well, let me see the pitch count, because knowing Shohei Ohtani, not everyone can get 13 Ks in a short amount of innings and still be low pitch count.
Yeah.
He's a high pitch count guy, Ohtani is.
Yeah.
He's at 68.
That's not bad.
For 12 Ks. I mean, it's only 5 1/3.
I don't think he gets. I mean, frankly, let's say he doesn't give up a hit or a walker. There's no error. I don't think he gets out of the 7th at this rate because it's early in the year.
Right.
But there's the chance that maybe Joe Madden decides not to, be wimp with his pitchers. Just saying.
He has the time it again. Let the kid play. Let him play.
Yeah, absolutely. And I just have one other note for the weekly news, and you could add anything you'd like. Miguel Cabrera is currently 1 hit away from 3,000. He may hit tonight. Who knows? And yes, they do call him Miggy. Shout out to my brother who did not believe Dan and I in that fact years ago. Is there a player who really defines our generation? And I mean generation, I mean Dan and I's generation. He's been playing since before we were in grade school, I believe. I think he debuted in 03 when they won the World Series with the Marlins. He's been just a constant, even now. He's not the hitter he used to be, but he still hits for a decent average. Kind of lost the power, but he's not talked about much anymore. But he's really a generational talent. Won the Triple Crown back in 2013 or 14, I believe. Mm-hmm. Outstanding player and future Hall of Famer. So that's all I had for this week. He's
on the short list of best players in baseball, meaning that like at one point in their career for a prolonged time, he was the best player in baseball. You think about Trout, held that for quite some time. I mean, you can even throw in people like there's been spurts where Ohtani was the best player in baseball. Even if you give that, Miguel Cabrera is on like a short list of maybe 15 guys that have been in the news as that name in the last
consistently too. For like almost 10 years.
Yep.
Consistently. Another thing also I thought about Garrett Cole, absolutely worth that contract. I mean, every penny, worth every penny.
I'm a little disappointed in myself for ranking him as high as I did as our Pacers ranking. I really gave him a lot of credit, and I've never been a real Cole supporter. Hated the contract originally. I think it's ridiculous to spend that much money on one player, specifically a pitcher. unless he's Clayton Kershaw. I mean, the guy's not Clayton Kershaw.
Absolutely.
Come on. Yeah.
No one is Kershaw.
No, that's it. That's the whole fucking thing. So, hey, God bless, man. Maybe you get out of 2 next time. If he gets through 2, I think we'd be happy with it. But precursor, I am going to talk about a Yankees pitcher tonight in one of our segments.
Me too.
Woo-hoo! I guarantee you, it's a different person.
Yeah. Also, Nasty Nestor Cortez. I don't know if this is who you're going to talk about.
I'm not answering the questions, bro. This is
Great.
not an interrogation.
Great start the other day. He had an immaculate inning. 9
12.
pitches, 3 up, 3 down.
12 strikeouts he had. He had 12 strikeouts,
yes. Nasty Nestor. Immaculate inning, great, immaculate mustache, immaculate pitcher. Zeke, I apologize for. I don't want to apologize yet, but if you keep pitching like this, I'm going to apologize.
He looks good as of now.
Yeah, absolutely. And that's all I have for notes of the week. I don't know if you had anything else, Dan, or if you want to jump right into something else.
I'm here for the ride. You know me, guys. I don't do much. What I do have for you is I'm ready for the next segment, and I have my hitter highlight. If you're interested in that, Jazz.
I am very interested.
Okay, we're going to talk about a guy that he might have been like a just miss to the just miss guys. Could have even been my first ever just miss mention. We're talking about first baseman Patrick Wisdom. Okay, We're coming from the noggin this week. Last week we shouted out G-Man Choi. If you see my kind of the way I'm going about this, I want to bring you guys that not only are having a great week, but that need a little love, need a little shout out here. Patrick Wisdom this week on 6 for 15, hit 400. But the way in which he did it, Sean, 5 doubles and 2 homers. Now you ask yourself, Dan, how's he hitting 5 doubles, 2 homers that equals 7, and he's only hitting 6 for 15? That's because I have my numbers wrong, and he's 7 for 15. That would be the answer to your question, you astute listener out there who can do math better than me. Frankly, all extra base hits is what I said to you, Sean, if you listened. 7 ribeye steaks, Sean. 7 ribeye steaks. We spoke about it when I talked about him in the first baseman. This guy's going to strike out a lot, as he did. I think he struck out 7 times over this past week as well. But he's hitting the ball just as hard. Like I said, I think he's like 40 homer pop, but really, really high strikeout rate. The average is going to be there. But 96% barrel percentage so far this year. So StatCast number, at least stats backing it up. He's hitting the ball hard, man. You like to see that out of Patrick. That's what I got.
I love that. Kind of burst on the scene last year a little bit.
He did. He did definitely burst on the scene a little bit. And guys, as Sean gives you his guy, I'm going to look back at Patrick Wisdom and redo my math to make sure when I come back to you for the pitcher, we have everything sorted out.
All right. So my guy, he's doing well. New team.
And that's good to hear.
More so, what was done for him or to him? Bases loaded.
Oh, God.
Walk.
God.
Corey Seager. That is
My guy.
batshit crazy. I mean, he's good. I mean, very good.
You saw
He
my
ain't
tweet.
Barry Bonds on roids. The Angels came back and won that game somehow. But the funniest thing of the night was seeing Mike Trout's reaction out in center field. You can see him counting the runners on base and then just having a confused look on his face. It was everybody who was watching that game, the same reaction. But Corey Seager has done really well so far to start the year, which is great because Semien has not. I think he's hitting like 128 so far. Again, it's very early. But a lot of times it's a lot of pressure. Look at Lindor last year with the Mets, didn't do well. But yeah, Seager has hit the ground running. He's hitting, I think, 294 last time I checked. I think this was before games last night, so it might have went up or down since then. Probably up, honestly. But Corey Seager, put some respect on his name. The man's been disrespected since he came up. The Dodgers basically threw him to the side, and I don't know. I don't know what it is. Maybe he's just too nice. I don't know.
Hitting leadoff for me in MLB The Show as well, just so everyone knows. Hit a homer this week. You could ask Coach wish he was here. You know what? I'll even FaceTime him when Sean gets into his picture when I have another break to tell you about. I'm not even gonna say anything else. He'll tell you about what he saw from Corey Seager this week in MLB The Show. Just to speak on Semien, I talked about this when we did our player rankings. Drafted him, believed in him after the hype year, sucked. Didn't draft him, the next year because I thought he would suck again. Now it was 2 out of 3 bad years. He did great drafted him again this year. So sorry, Marcus, to you and your family. We wish the best for you. Patrick Wisdom, Sean, was 8 for 15. Somehow I missed 2 hits. He did have a single this week, and I think that's important to mention. 5 doubles, 2 homers, and a single for Patrick Wisdom. So
That's good.
much more than 400. He's hitting over 500. So again, I apologize, but
Is that good?
Even it's a little good, Sean.
Okay, a little bit, just a little bit.
The ISOP is probably pretty crazy on that. For my pitcher this week, Sean, if you don't mind me jumping to him,
Go right ahead.
I do. Listen, I don't buy this guy yet. He had a good week, and I've done this again and again. I will shout out guys I don't like. Joe Musgrove had a real good week this week. Could have went Corbin Burns here for me, but he didn't play the type of competition that I needed. Joe Musgrove did it against the Braves, a stout lineup, and I had to respect that. 2-0 on the week, 13 innings pitched, 13 Ks, 8 hits, 2 earned runs, and a walk. That's really what I want to focus on. That's 1 walk and 13 Ks in 13 innings. And if you know Joe Musgrove, an issue I had with him really is the 7.2 and 9.6 walk rate he had the last 2 seasons that I thought was a little bit disconcerting. We're talking about 1.4 walk rate so far through his, I believe, 3 starts now. And that's 90th percentile in baseball, obviously. He's not walking anyone. Just like I am on the hitting side, I love people who walk. I love people who don't walk people, okay?
Sure.
Walks are a big sway for me. You know, the free pass. Nothing comes free when you're in the MLB, okay? You stay on this podcast, you can rap with me. Encourage.
Baby.
So Joe Musgrove this week, just want to shout him out. Had a really good couple starts there. If he keeps that walk rate low, he's going to prove me and a lot of other people wrong. Honestly, a lot of other people right. He's going to prove me wrong individually. That's what I got.
Well, speaking of proving people right and wrong, this is when we did the starting pitcher rankings, I laughed at Zeke when he had this person so high up. Justin Verlander, unbelievable start to the season, really. He has had 2 starts so far. He's currently 1-1, somehow has a loss, with a .69 ERA, very nice, and also a .69 WHIP, very nice. In his last start against the Angels, he went. He went. Hold on. I'm sorry about this. I got my computer just.
No, you're fine. Sean, do you want me to take it for a second? Because I can take it real quick.
Oh, and I have it now. I found it.
Sure.
Against Seattle. Against the Angels was his first game. He got a loss, went 5 innings, decent, coming back from an arm injury. But against the Mariners, went 8 innings, 3 hits, no runs, 8 strikeouts, and no walks. This is a guy coming off a major issue last year. Was it Tommy John?
Yes.
Okay. Tommy John. Nonetheless, you got to give credit where credit's due, and he has just shoved since coming back. And it's not any pitchers that 2 starts in after a major injury, missing over a year. You're going to go 8 innings. I guess Verlander's obviously proved himself beyond any doubt, but they trust him, pushed him 8 innings. Obviously worked out really well. And what he's done so far is pretty hard to ignore. But Justin Verlander, Houston Astros.
Yeah, no, Justin Verlander's fantastic. We're going to really shout out Zeke a couple times. What I do have for you, Sean, before I'll get back to Verlander, but I got to do this quick, is we do have a guest here. This is your coach. Oh, shit, almost dropped you there, Coach. And Coach, how's everybody doing? Coach doesn't know why he's here yet. And I'm talking about his life. He doesn't know his purpose in life yet for this. but does anyone really know why they're here? That's the question we're all trying to answer. Something that I can help with, Coach, is that Sean this week, his hitter highlight for this week was Corey Seager. Okay. And I was telling him about something that Corey Seager did this week that really only you would know about. Would you be able to talk about? I'm not even going to give you more information. What you think I'm referring to?
Yeah, no. So me and Dan, we were playing the show. Now, were we on a team together when this happened, or was I against you? Because I feel like I only played you once.
I don't remember. We might have.
We must have been doing a co-op, and we finally got an inning in, I believe is what happened. And I don't think anyone scored. And then all of a sudden, Corey Seager comes up to the plate. And when I tell you, Corey probably put this ball 500 feet, dead pull, right field. I mean, it was the furthest home run I've ever seen in show history, to be honest.
Yeah.
Most notable for sure.
I just wanted that to be added to Corey's week this week, obviously. But I do appreciate that input from you.
Thank you, Coach.
Yeah, and this is your first just star guest appearance without actually being on the pod. We might start taking callers. So thank you.
We should. We absolutely should.
I called him. You did see Vlad Guerrero Sr., yes?
Yes, yeah.
You got a sneak preview of
You get a sneak peek, yeah.
Got it. You'll find out later. You're gonna have to watch the episode to find out. But I'll speak to you later on. What Coach doesn't know, and honestly, I think it's a good time to tell him, Sean, how does Vlad play in today's episode?
How does Vlad fit in today's episode?
He doesn't.
How does Vlad?
He doesn't. That's the whole point, guys. This is the first time ever. I'm glad he thinks he's gonna be thinking all fucking week, Sean. How does Vlad play into this week's episode? This is the first week ever we decided. I said, Sean, which guy you want me to go for? He's like, let's scratch it. I don't want to do anyone. And I said, Sean, we gotta have him back. And he's like, how about we just do someone random? And I, in classic fashion, I was all on board from the jump. I mean, that's just the greatest thing I've ever heard of. We weren't going to tell you till the end because you were going to be sitting here waiting like, when are we going to talk about Vlad? Like, what did he do? Nothing. Vlad did nothing but be great as himself. And Leif, you got if you're watching right now. But I hope you enjoyed the podcast and stay for a while.
I got to be honest. When Dan asked me, I was between two people, Vlad and Josh Hamilton. I remember Josh Hamilton had a bit of some rough things happen recently, so I figured it was better Vlad Sr. So,
and that's beautiful. Are we at where are we at, Sean?
We're at fantasy right now.
Okay, so here is you want me to give my player to watch?
Go right ahead, man. Go right ahead.
It's Jesse Wink, guys.
Jesse Wink.
Guy been
Friend of the pod.
Friend of the pod. Friend of the pod. This guy has not been a friend of the luck of recent. We talk about Kyle Tucker. Honestly, my player to watch this week is Jesse Winker and still Kyle Tucker. Still an expected batting average over 300. Kyle Tucker's average is, I believe, still well under 100. So, Kyle, that luck's going to turn around, buddy. Don't stop pushing. Me and Sean here at the 10th Inning Podcast, we are behind you. We are rooting for you. We know things are going to change. You have like the third highest expected weighting on base in the league and almost the worst. So this cannot continue much longer. This is actually unreasonable. But on to this week, we're talking about Jesse Wink. His batting average right now, Sean, is 143. His expected average is 284, a BABIP of .167. He's the 8th highest variance in weighted on base average compared to his expected average over about 170 points. It's 167. We don't do lies here. Points difference between his expected weighted on base and his weighted on base. Here's the thing, though, Sean. Now you're thinking, okay, I guess he's just hitting the ball hard. It's hitting at people. Here's where I'm really on Jesse Wink, especially to break out soon. His K percentage, Sean, take a guess what do you think his strikeout percentage is? Take a guess.
15%.
10.6%, top 8 in the league. What do you think his walk rate is while he's hitting 143 with a 167 BABIP? What do you think his walk percentage
I'm
is?
going to go close to the strikeout percentage and say 10%.
What would you say if I told you it was 25.5, the best in the league?
I'd be shocked. I really would.
You'd be shocked, but you'd be correct. I mean, we got guys like Juan Soto, who we'll talk about later, who walk so much that he's going to get a whatever it's called, a pick'em this week. It's 25.5%. This guy's walking almost 3 times more than he's striking out.
Yeah.
And he's still having this bad luck. Jesse Winker is seeing the ball. When he's hitting the ball, his exit velocities are as hard as ever. This is unlucky as it gets because it's not even like it's affecting his approach at the plate. He's never been like, he's never been a high strikeout rate guy
Yeah.
or a high walk rate guy. But this is pretty. This isn't stable either. His strikeout walk rate will stabilize, but his hitting production will as well.
It'll all even out, yeah.
So watch out for Jesse Winker this week. I think he's going to start popping off. I might even trade for him. I have a trade that's been in the Zeke sent me Brian Reynolds for Jesse Winker. It's been sitting there for like a week and a half. I see them as very even players. The issue is Winker. Really, the splits against lefties are just the worst in the league by a wide margin. Doesn't play a lot of lefties though, so it's tough. They're both very, very good players, all-star caliber. Who would you take, Winker or Brian Reynolds?
What was that?
Winker or Reynolds? Who do you want?
That's tough. I might go. I might go
Dynasty
Winker.
League too. I think they're the same age, so
Yeah, I'd go Winker.
okay.
Tough though. It's toss up. Yeah. I like
Okay.
that out of you. I like that a lot. So I guess it's my turn for fantasy player to watch.
Yeah.
Now this one is going to probably be a bit of a surprise for most of you. Frankly, I wasn't too familiar with until I picked up this morning. Maybe it was last night. Catcher for the Texas Rangers. You got a guess? Got a guess, Dan?
Jonah Heim.
Jonah Heim, baby.
He's been
The man's on fire right now.
Yeah.
He's hitting 400 clip right now. It's early, only he's only played 4 games, 17 plate appearances. But he's hot right now, and you might as well ride the hot streak out as long as it is. That's what I'm hoping to do. I picked him up this week. I don't know if he was a top prospect at all. He's played a here and there prior 2 years. I've never really heard of him as at least a top 100 prospect per se, but he seems to be at least hitting well initially. He also can play DH as well. Not that, you play DH, but he's put in the DH role from time to time. But Jonah Heim, I think, ride it out as long as you can take it. And yeah, he's
Good
my starting
flow too,
catcher.
if I'm not mistaken.
What was that?
Good flow as well, if I'm
Oh,
not
yeah,
mistaken.
very good flow. Very good flow.
Yeah.
Very.
I actually have a pitcher to watch as well, if you don't mind.
Go right ahead.
And this is where the Yankees guy is going to come in, Sean. You're going to be shocked. We're going to talk about a reliever here. I'm going to talk about Clay Holmes. Okay? This goes for fantasy and for real life. Fantasy saves are hard to come by. Aroldis Chapman has looked really good so far this season, which is a little bit shocking. His walk rate's been up, but he's looked good. He hasn't given up any runs yet. He's gotten out of every inning he's been in. Let's put it that way.
Didn't he walk in a winning run one game?
He did. He did. The walk rate again has been high, but other than that, he's looked fairly well in the 6 innings that he's pitched. His strikeout rate has been pretty high. His velocity's come down a little bit. I guess what I'm trying to say, he hasn't looked bad enough to lose his job yet. He hasn't done anything un-Aroldis Chapman like yet. Believe it or not. It's like saying Joey Gallo's striking out a lot. My thing with Clay Holmes is 6 innings pitched, 3 holds, 1 save, an earned run, 2 walks, and 6 Ks this season so far. But the expected stats, believe it or not, are even better. I mean, this guy looks really, really sharp on the mound when you watch him. The numbers back it up and say even more. I'm just saying, watch out for him. I mean, it's a stacked bullpen. We still got Chad Green, and there's some other big arms in there. But watch out for him to get more appearances in high leverage. And I think he has the potential to be the Yankees' next closer. I think, like you said, there's been moments like that for Chapman. If that starts to really pile up, watch out. I think that he could be a guy that could take that spot from Chapman, and especially in fantasy, if you're looking for saves, the Yankees would be certainly a great team to have the closer of. A lot of you probably have Aroldis Chapman out there. He's a decently high drafted closer. I don't think it could definitely happen this year, but either injury or Chapman just being high variance again. Again, Chapman has a 0 ERA this year. He walked in a guy, but I don't think it was his run. He wasn't really put in the greatest situation at that point. He's got 4 walks and 7 strikeouts over 4 innings. It's Aroldis Chapman. He strikes out 2 an inning, he walks 1 inning.
Yeah.
And if the Yankees want to go away from that, I'm telling you, Clay Holmes could be that guy. Watch out.
Beautiful.
Thank you.
So we're on to now our picks of the week.
I got a hot take, Sean. Do you,
Oh, you
do you
got,
have a
you got a
hot
hot
take?
take?
Do you have a hot take?
You know, I do have a hot take. I do have a
Okay.
hot take.
What's your hot take?
I'm sorry, I almost forgot about it. The aforementioned Garrett Cole.
Yeah.
He's going to go 7 innings. It's against the Cleveland Guardians, so that's a bit of a caveat to that. But honestly, their lineup isn't the worst. They still have Jose Ramirez, obviously.
Mhm.
But I think
Player of the week.
Yeah.
Player of the week this week. Congrats, Jose.
I think he's going to rebound. I think he has to rebound. I mean, you can't get much worse than what he's done so far. I mean, it could. It could. You always could. But I think he needs to have a big game, and I think he will have a big game. Do I want to see him have a big game? Not really. But I think he will. Or, I was between 6 innings or 7 innings, and I went with 7 because, hot take. I'd rather be more hot than cold. So I went extra hot, flaming hot, off the grill. There you go, folks.
What was your hot take last week? Do you remember?
My hot take last week was the Nationals were going to win 4 games.
Did they do that?
I don't think so, no.
Okay.
Pirates
Well,
have played a little bit better than I anticipated. I think they're 5-6 right now.
Yeah. Well, we both didn't get any points for the Pirates this week. We'll get into that in a second. I will say, though, that Gavin Lux, he had an okay week. He had a decent week. I feel like people are talking about him more after this week than last week, even in a better week the week before. I do think that he might have cemented himself in that starting second base job for the rest of the season. I think that might have happened. He didn't break out one player of the week, I'll tell you that. But he did look good. He put a lot of good swings on balls. He had a beautiful shot to center field on Clayton's first start, which was phenomenal. You never know. You never know with Gavin Lux. But I'm not disappointed in what I saw from him this week. My hot take this week, however, another player that I've been high on for a lot of years and still has not really made it through, that is Jordan Hicks, the flamethrower for St. Louis. He's finally going to be able to start. They're going to let the man start. He's been a reliever his whole career, pretty much. In a closer role, throw a 104 gas at you. Similar to what they did with the Aroldis Chapman, right, with the Reds. Brought him up. He could be a starter. He's throwing 106. This would be crazy if we could stretch him out. It never happened. He ended up becoming an elite closer. And I was fine with that possibility with Jordan Hicks for a long time, keeping him on my dynasty team, thinking he could be the next elite closer. But I think they tried with Aroldis too a couple times, and it just didn't. It wasn't right. They're going to try with Hicks, and I'm here for the experiment. He, to me, is like Hunter Green, except he has like a Brewstar Gratterall sinker with it too. I mean, this kid's sinker is really filthy. I'm obviously been a big fan of Jordan Hicks, so he's pitching tomorrow, making it might even be his first ever start or first real official start. I have as the hot take that he shoves in his first start, Sean. He shoves. He beats the Marlins and picks up a quality start. He's only stretched out to 4 innings, so it would be a hot take for him to get through 6. But that's my hot take, that he gets through 6 with less than 3 runs, and he picks up 9 Ks while doing it. So I expect Jordan Hicks to shove tomorrow.
I love that.
Thank you.
I love that. I'm pretty high on him as well. Not as high as you, but it's hard to.
It's hard.
Yeah.
So Sean, would you mind if I went over our pick totals from last week?
Go right ahead, man.
So I had the Phillies errors at 6. You had them at 5. And the Phillies defense showed out this week and had 1 error.
Of course they did.
They had like 4. I think the last 3 games they had none. So even today they had no more errors. I mean, they looked fine this week. So God bless the Philadelphia Phillies. Sorry, me and Sean came at you. Alec Boehm's now hitting almost 500. So Sean, you really did wonders for his career.
I'm glad.
We are getting 0 points for that. Really, we should be deducted. Going on to the Pirates. So they won 2 games this week. The over-under was at 2.5. However, which we both picked under. The bet, was for them, assuming they were playing 7. They played 5. A couple games got postponed and rained out. Out of 2 out of 5, I don't believe that we deserve that point, Sean.
No,
disagree with me.
unfortunately not.
Pirates had a decent week. They're playing decent baseball right now, which is really, really sad for the sport. Last one, Ohtani, he took the under, and the next day he hit 2 and beat it in one night. How did it feel knowing you took the under on 1.5 and he hit 2 and dick wiggled in your face?
Yeah, it wasn't a great pick. Frankly, when he He started giving his bad CPR. Should have known it was over from there.
Well, I took the over, folks. Really just to be different from Sean, but I will take my point this week. Kind of a dismal week for us. This week ends up 1-0 Dan. To put the season total at 2-1. Dan, Sean, how does it feel to be losing this early in the season?
There's a lot of season left. 162 games. I'm not worried. I know Dan comes out of the gates flying. I got to pace myself. It's a marathon, not a sprint. So,
were there any other cliches you wanted to let us know before we move on to this week's?
The sky isn't falling.
Thank you. Going on to this week, Sean, I know I really told you earlier, but we didn't have a lot of time to discuss it, so I'll go through it slowly and you take your time. Jordan Hicks, over under 5.5 Ks this week. I'll go first. Over, because he has to hit 9 Ks to get my hot take.
Just to be different, I'm going to pick under. And last week you did it just to be different, and you won. So I'm gonna hope that it carries on to me here.
That makes sense.
I think he very easily could surpass that, but I'm gonna go with under.
I like it. I mean, I hope he goes over, but I do like the difference. Soto had 8 walks, Sean, I think in 6 games last week. He had almost 2 per game. Pretty wild out of Juan. Also expected. I don't think he can do that again, but I think the over-under set at 5 for the next 6 games or so. Over-under.
I'm going over.
Over 5, yeah. God, that's so tough. You got to imagine he swings at some point, but they're not catching to him, I guess, right? I mean, Josh Bell's having a season.
He's got no protection around him. I mean, he's got Nelly Cruz, but would you rather face Nelly Cruz or Juan Soto?
Josh Bell's having a season, though.
But he's not Juan Soto. I mean, no one's Juan Soto.
I'm going under. I think he gets 4, and he hits a couple bombs this week. I think he starts swinging. I'm going under. So we're both different here. Last one, the Blue Jays. I think me and Sean, at least one of us had them in our ALCS, are playing the Astros this weekend. So a really nice, fun series for the fans. They're both 6-5 right now, Sean. They both play tonight before then. But who wins that series? 3-game series, Friday, Saturday, Sunday.
I think the Astros. I think Verlander is going in it, I believe.
Verlander is going in. I know Kevin Gausman's going tonight, which is I think the Astros are going to have the pitching advantage. Yeah. I was going to go Astros as well. We're different on the other two, Sean. I feel strongly about this. I'm going to stick to my guns. I'm going to say Astros as well.
Okay. All right.
The Blue Jays, you are certain.
On the same side.
Yeah. The Blue Jays, you're certain to win this week, so congratulations.
Yeah.
Thank you. You're welcome from the 10th Inning Podcast. That's all I have for him, Sean.
Same here. Miguel Cabrera could have 3,000 hits by the end of the night. Respect, appreciate greatness, because when it's over, you won't get it again.
Sean, I asked you if you were done with the whatever they're called. Cliches, and you said you were.
And then this just dawned upon me.
Respect greatness while it's happening, guys, because once it's gone, it's gone. I mean, Sean's right. You got to respect them while they're here. A lot of people always pay respect to the dead artists, but, you got to know when you see it.
Absolutely.
And I know when I'm seeing it right now, Sean, I respect you, and I thank you for all the work you do for this community, putting together these videos, okay, giving us this information. All right?
I respect you greatly, too, Dan. Thank you for all your work. This podcast wouldn't be the same if it was just me. We are a team. Yeah. We work well together. And the viewers, we thank you.
God. Thank you, guys. Your greatness. That's what I think is great, Sean.
We witness it all the time.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, you tune in next week to see that I took it's going to have to be a 4-2 advantage because I'm not going to be able. No, 5-2. 5-2 advantage on Sean in the weekly point totals. We'll see you next week for recap number 3.